Hello, hi, good morning. Here we are, back in action. Lekker warm koffiekies. Feeling better, not 100% yet, but I am better. Thank you for the grace yesterday, even though my message was late. We got there, and but I hope you're doing great today. Ever since I got up this morning, I feel the well, I don't feel it. The parable of the sower has been on my mind. And if you don't know what that is, we're going to read it in a moment. Not the whole chapter, it's quite long. But I did separate the two sections. And yeah, I just felt there's so many messages actually in this short little piece, in this little piece over here, that you can't not, you can't just do one on it. So we'll see. Maybe God will have a few days on it. But in Matthew chapter 13, Jesus is in a place where he goes somewhere and he has a big crowd of people that comes to him, and he starts, preaching to them and speaking to them in all these parables. And this one in Matthew chapter 13, he says, from verse 3, he says, "Behold, a sower went out to sow. And as he sowed, some seed fell by the wayside, and the birds came and devoured them. Some fell on stony places where they did not have much earth, and they immediately sprang up because they had no depth of earth. But when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprang up and choked them. But others fell on good ground and yielded a crop, some hundredfold, some 60-fold, and some 30-fold. He who has ears, let them hear." And then he explains it from in chapter 13, sorry, and from verse 18 to 23, he oh, what's happening over here this morning? Like a man. So he explains it over here from chapter in verse 18, as I said. So therefore, he says, "Hear the parable of the sower." It says, "When anyone hears the word of the kingdom and does not understand it, then the wicked one comes and snatches it away what was sown in his heart. This is the one who receives seed by the wayside. But he who received the seed on stony places, this is the one who hears the word and immediately receives it with joy, yet he has no root in himself, but endures only for a little while. For when tribulation and persecution arises because of the word, immediately he stumbles. Now he who received the seed among the thorns is he who hears the word, and the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he becomes unfruitful. But he who received seed on the good ground is he who hears the word and understands it. It's he who indeed bears fruit and produces, some hundredfold, some 60, and some 30-fold. So, I'm actually so glad that Jesus explained this to us, because I think us being people, we have a tendency to, because we don't always understand that we perceive things differently, and Jesus explains things to us differently. The Holy Spirit explains things to us differently. Um, we probably would have had arguments about what this actually meant. The important thing that stood out here for me is that I want to press on today is the fact that sometimes it doesn't matter where you are and where you came through in life. We start maybe as one of the types of grounds. We can start as one of the types. So if you're you could, it doesn't matter, it all depends on where you are in your life. The important thing is that you can change the type of ground you're on. If you were a stony place, or if you were by the wayside, or you were between the thorns. A lot of us, I think, are between the thorns when we start out. I think I definitely was for a long time in my life, inning and outing. And you move, I think you can move between them as well. But it's different when you've been a good ground for a while. When you move a little bit away, it's not the same effect as right in the beginning. The between the thorns is the big one, because we have a tendency to still grab so hard at the materialistic things of this world, the stuff that is not eternal, the stuff that isn't going with us. And it's important here, I think, to point out, this is where Romans 12 verse 2 is so important, with regards to the being transformed by the renewing of our minds. Because as we start to change differently, as the Holy Spirit comes and explains these things to us as we ask, even if we are a thorny type of ground, the thorns can be removed. We become good ground, and we become fruitful in the end of the day, 30, 60, and 100-fold. So we can become good soil, but we don't want to go the other way again either. So we got to be careful of that over here. But it's just about being diligent in your pursuit. You gotta keep going. You gotta keep trying. If it's something you really want, that's the interesting thing here. If you're um, if you're a sportsman and you want to be the best, you want to be the best cricket batsman, you want to be the best bowler, you want to be the best fly off in the world, not just in your country. You want to be the best surfer in the world. Whatever it is, you want to be the best at your job. You want to be the best employee, the best salesman, the best manager, the best CEO. All these things you pursue that with all you can. What do you do to get better at that? You look at how other people are doing it that are succeeding quite well. If you see somebody reach a certain milestone, you pay attention. You go look and say, okay, what did this guy do? Oh, he did that. Oh, that's fascinating. Let me do that. Let me try that and see if that works for me. And if it doesn't work for you 100%, what do? We adjust it accordingly around it. So at the end of the day, then it's important that it's the same with the word. We might not know and understand everything 100% right at the beginning, but as we go and as we grow, we need to see, okay, what's happening over here? What's this person doing? What's that person doing? What is this teaching us? What is this guy saying over here? Oh, wow, that's so you've got to pay attention to that and start applying those things and doing those things in your life. So we just have to endure, my friend, and be diligent in your pursuit. That's what this is all about. Put that helmet on. Remember yesterday. Put that helmet on. Be diligent in your pursuit and just keep going.